I think that we have to broaden our base to get the environmentalists involved and to get the scientists involved and to get the medical community involved in IFAMA. I believe that it's not good enough to think of what we're doing as just a food-related system. It's a health-related system. It's a nutrition system. It's an economic development system. And it's an environmental system.
Redesign the system,
yes.
Get things right,
yeah.
Show it,
yeah.
And sell the system as a whole.
And integrate healthcare with horticulture and agriculture. Yeah, I also ask for a Ministry of Food and Health.
And you even want to integrate energy. So it's ecology, health, energy,
yes.
Redoing the whole system, creating shared value, and that is what you call a true triple helix.
And then you have a triple helix, which you can export all around the world. And people will love it.
The jewel in the crown of Dutch agriculture is not the produce per se; it's the technology that produces the produce. And wouldn't one expect that is what you could that is where the real value is? Why? Because you can. That's where the intellectual property is. That's what you can patent.
This whole platform can actually help to innovate, to create innovations for the horticulture sector. So we're basically using that context of space exploration as an extreme environment to help innovate the horticulture sector. It's basically an environment that stimulates creativity and out-of-the-box thinking. And we're hoping that by bringing together those two worlds, space exploration, space technologies, and horticulture and food production, by bringing together those two worlds that usually don't really meet, that new ideas will come up.
So the promise of technology is not simply to make our farming more efficient, cheaper, more monocultural, more monocrop. It can also be to design new systems that are more sustainable, more robust, and anti-fragile.
Would you accept that? I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you completely on that. But how do you get from the historic, kind of big, the push that technology naturally leads into? And I agree. I think that's the kind of reinventing that fabric of farming. But it's, and maybe this shock is it, but maybe it's not. Because we would need to be proactively thinking about that and supporting that transition.
So African governments should try and take agriculture as a serious business. And of course, because it has promising potentialities to provide food and raw materials for industries, create jobs, and substantial foreign exchange, figures for any economy, among other benefits. So, and our youths, they want to see viable and profitable agriculture, because agriculture in Africa must be painted in such a way that the subsectors, that is the crops, the livestock, the forestry and the fishery sectors, subsectors, are also, are profitable.
Africa has too many we groups which do not trust each other. And in the West, we don't have any group at all anymore. We have fragmented individuals in big machine-like societies, and they are all in search of their identity. And that needs to be channeled towards this mission of creating something new in an entrepreneurial way, which serves society and adds value, also in agriculture. And there the West and Africa can meet.
Sustainability is, in a nutshell, being good for the animal, for the farmer, for the environment. And So that's in 3 words.
Okay, that's a very simple one.
You need to be simple so people can understand.
Being good for the animal, the environment, and society. Brad, what would your response be? What is sustainability?
So, Dick, my response will come from our customers in our integrated pork supply chain, what they're requesting of us. And it's a difficult question to answer, Dick, in all honesty, because everybody has a different definition of sustainability. But our customers, basically, it's doing the most with least. Producing the most amount of pork with the least amount of inputs and therefore the lowest carbon footprint.
True sustainability, in my mind, is kind of a combination of what both Brad and Akin are talking about, and that is that we continue to produce a tasty, desirable protein product for the consumer that they are willing to afford and have access to.
I think because of food being something that is global also, and at the same time very local, you have to work together. Certain regions, they just cannot because they don't have enough water or they don't have enough land. Think about Asia and the booming of Asia. They need other regions to be able to supply them with the calories they need to survive. It's just they need to cooperate, right? So there are some regions. The Netherlands needs to cooperate because a lot of the business case of the Netherlands is about transforming, let's say, low-value food into high-value food, and therefore be able to, of course, we need to look at this impact and have to take a good look at it. But that's also a business case, and you need cooperation for that and those value chains.
Today we have a completely different approach because the consumers are not only looking for the transparent data, they are asking for them. They are really becoming more and more intensive in that direction, and they are supported by non-governmental organizations that as well want to cope with intransparency in the food chain. And the last player in this game is becoming more and more important. These are the governmental bodies that are looking for compliance, because in a sort, in some of the food chains, we are confronted with nasty aspects as, for example, food fraud. And there, compliance is becoming more and more important, and ownership of data is very important too, because you can only share data that everyone can distribute, contribute, and use. And this is an aspect that is becoming more and more complex if the technology is not demand-driven, but owner-driven.
The problem where producers has no access to consumer is partially, at least it's now having another channel that can be solved. More and more you see farmers from areas go on to the direct live streaming broadcasting channels like TikTok, for example, to promote their products directly to consumers. And there has been quite some successful cases, not to say it's completely changing it, but you see now suddenly the chain is shortened. You don't need to have the 30 middlemen in the middle, but a farmer growing a high quality peach, in principle, he can directly reach out to consumers.
It's going to be very, very important a review of the current situation of all the trading issues, permits, legal regulations that need to be absolutely reviewed in order to adapt the upcoming system to the right supply, to the right quality and the certifications, to be sure that the production is done respecting all the health procedures. So you can imagine that with tremendous impact, the world is not ready to receive any problem coming out from abroad with infected food. We will need internationally at the different levels to start discussing how we will manage the supply. And I think that precisely IFAMA has a significant role in this.